So today we're going to focus on how to write the equation of a parabola in standard form and graph it, find the vertex, the focus, and the directrix. Now you can tell looking at this equation that this is a parabola because you have one squared term and you have one term that's not squared. So this conic section has to be a parabola. Now since the x is squared here and we have the linear x term, we know we have to complete the square on the x's. So that means I need to move this 3 over here and this 4y to the other side as well. Now when I move them, I can't just pick it up and say that x squared minus 2x equals negative 3 plus 4y. When you move them over, you have to move them like you're solving. So I have to add the 3 over. So I get x squared minus 2x. And if I add the 3 over and subtract the 4y, I get 3 minus 4y. And now I'm going to complete the square right here. So I have b over 2, which is going to be negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. And I have to square that. Negative 1 squared is 1. Remember, anytime you square a negative, you get a positive number. So this ends up being x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 3 minus 4y plus 1. Because if I add 1 to this side, I have to add 1 to the other side. And now to simplify this, I get x minus 1, that whole thing squared. I'm using this minus 1 to put the minus 1 in here. Equals 3 plus 1 is 4. So 4 minus 4y. Now, this 4 needs to move back over here. So I get x minus 1 squared minus 4 equals negative 4y. I'm trying to get y by itself because that's my linear term. So now I have to divide everything by negative 4. There's a 1 out here, so this becomes negative 1/4 times x minus 1 squared. A negative 4 divided by negative 4 is a positive 1 equals y. So now this is my standard form equation. This right here is A. So I'm going to use that later when I try to find C to get my focus and my directrix. But for now, we know this is in standard form. Now it helps to know which direction this parabola opens. Since we have a y equals equation, it has to open either up or down. Because of the y-axis, that would be up or down. Since we have a negative out front here, that means the parabola is going to open down. My center, I pull from right here and right here. Since this is a y equals, this is an x minus 1, my center, put over here, my center has to be a positive 1 because it's the opposite. This one is going to stay the same though, so 1, 1 would be my center. So now if I graph this, to get an idea of where we're going, 1, 1 is right here. There's my vertex, sorry, that should be vertex, not center. Parabolas have vertices. And I know it opens down, so it's going to look something like this. Now, to get your focus and your directrix, you have to know what C is. In order to do that, we need A. Because our formula, remember, is the absolute value of A equals 1 over 4C. A is negative 1/4 in this case. Negative 1/4 equals 1 over 4C. Absolute values turn all numbers positive, so I actually have 1 over 4 equals 1 over 4C. Now to get C by itself, I can cross multiply. So 4C equals 4, which means C has to be 1. That means I'm just going to move up and down 1, or left and right 1, to get my focus and my directrix. Since my parabola is opening down, and it's a y equals equation, that means my focus and my directrix has to be, oh, 'Can't see the graph. my focus and my directrix has to be on the y-axis here. So I'm going to move according to the y's. So my focus has to be inside here. So if I'm at 1, if I have to be inside, I have to subtract 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So my focus, I'm still over 1 on the x, but now I'm 0 on the y-axis. This is my focus. Now my directrix has to be behind it. So if I'm at a positive 1 to go behind it, I'm moving up, so I have to add 1. So my directrix is going to be right here, which is at 2. And since this is a y equals, my directrix is y equals 2. And that's how you find everything you need for a parabola.